Hello Virgo, welcome to Dove and Serpent Tarot. My name is Paul. If Virgo is your sun, moon, or rising sign, this is your tarot card reading. Remember to hit the like button, leave a comment, consider subscribing to the channel, especially if this reading resonates with you. If there is anything you would like me to pray over or meditate upon or send positive energy toward, please let me know. Now, this is going to be a general reading, so try to be open and receptive to whatever may come through during our time together. I am merely the messenger, and I ask you to connect directly with each of these cards and use your own intuition to take you beyond the details that I might provide. And remember, Virgo, that the most important part of any tarot reading is you. And an Ace of Swords as the very first card, that's pretty good. That's clarity. That, I think, is a kind of a psychic activation and enlightening, if you will, right? I feel like you're getting a lot of the answers that you've been seeking, right? And I think that you've been doing this is coming about because you haven't been obsessing over something, right? There's something that you need to figure out. There's something that you've been wanting clarity on, but you just have had this attitude like, it'll come to me when it's ready, you know? You haven't been trying to force anything, which I think is key. Let's put this into some context. This is very good. Three of Wands. Now we're getting something very fundamental, right? This is a fundamental expression of you, of your identity. Right, the Three of Wands is virtue. We've got a Queen of Swords. We've got the Lover's card. Interesting. The Two of Pentacles. The Nine of Pentacles. A Ten of Wands. A Three of Pentacles. The Nine of Swords in the position of what we don't want. And then we have some balance at the end. I think this is very, very good. This is the adjustment card. I think it's good to have the Nine of Swords in this position because we recognize what we don't want, right? We recognize that in a very fundamental way. We want kindness. We want love. We want acceptance. We want commitment, right? We want to feel as if we're becoming our best selves. Well, I don't want to feel as if this situation, this relationship, this job, this whatever, I don't want to feel like this is making me a worse person, right? And I think this is really, really good. So we recognize that. And I think this is a really big step for any of us is to realize the things that we don't want. The kind of relationship, the kind of life, the kind of commitment that we do not and will not tolerate. Okay? I think that's very, very good because then we can focus on letting the right things come in. And here with that Nine of Pentacles, I think we're really succeeding. We're making a lot of progress in whatever this commitment. Now, I think with the Lover's card here now, I know a lot of us are kind of hoping that this is not a relationship reading, you know, that this is not a true love or a romance or dating or anything like that. And I don't really feel that the Lover's card is that very often. It could be, but I feel like this is a commitment to yourself. I feel like this is a union with who you really are, a union with your identity. Three of Wands, right? This is on a fundamental level. This is the ultimate spiritual goal. Union with yourself, right? Knowing yourself. Knowing who you are and what you are about. Be beyond the thoughts and the feelings, right? Who you are at your core in a very fundamental way. And I think that's why we've got an Ace and we've got that Three. Okay? And we've got another Three. And the threes are fire and earth, right? So this is telling me that if you get down, if you find out, if you discover, if you have this enlightening, this realizing who you truly are deep down, beyond the thoughts and feelings, you're reaching a source of power, a source of potential that says you can accomplish anything in life, right? If you know what you've got, if you know what kind of divine energy you're carrying within you, there's nothing you can't do in life. There's nothing you can't accomplish, right? And this is really cool, have both those threes there. Let's select the mystery card, bonus card, confirmation card. Oh, What do we get there? We got a King of Wands. We got some fixed fire energy. I think that's very good. Because now we have that, we have this idea that there's nothing that you can accomplish. Yeah, but you have to also put in the work. You've got to take action, right? You've got to commit. And really, this is air and fire. And that's exactly what we have here, air and fire. So we have to put this group of cards, we have to put this into practice, okay? And we'll talk about that. But the mystery card is just going to go over here. We're going to put Alien Simon Mork Ripley right on top. We're not going to look at that card till the end. If you have a prediction for the card, put it down in the comments. Let's look around the room one time. We've got Major Arcana here, Major Arcana here. Both of these cards talk about partnerships, right? Talk about kind of a union, a working together even. And sometimes the Adjustment card is about like contracts, marriages, and legal things, and the professional relationships, right? So it's kind of now, we see this union with ourself, and we realize that if we work together with our highest divine energy and our kind of so-called lowest human self, you know, if our personal existence and our higher divine energy work together, that is the key. That is really what makes you unstoppable, right? The higher and the lower are together. Heaven and earth are combined, right? The spirit and the body together create this soul, right? So I think that it is a union between your human self and your divine self. And that balance, that cooperation that we see signified by the Adjustment card, this is us now taking orders not from our human heart or human mind, from our divine energy, from source, from spirit directly. That's who we get our instructions from, right? That's who we're in partnership with. And I think when you have this kind of, this realization and this spiritual union that takes place, it's an alchemical wedding, right? That's the mystery of the Lover's card here. It's the alchemical wedding. This creates such potential for you. And we see that here with the threes, especially the Three of Pentacles, is the potential that if you are harmonious internally, there is nothing you can't accomplish externally. Okay? This is really the best reading ever. And this, I think, is exactly where you are in your life right now. So we've got the two majors. We've got some fire energy that we need to talk about. We don't have any water energy, which I think is something that we might need to at least mention. And of course, we have the air, and air, and then we've got our earth, and earth energies. The fact that there's no water energy here, I wonder if this is saying that you've kind of just maybe gotten out of a relationship, or you've recently reaffirmed to yourself that you're not getting kind of coupled up with anybody right now. You know what I mean? I kind of feel as if you're taking time to focus on yourself, to focus on getting to know you and having this kind of spiritual union with yourself before you bring in any kind of this, that kind of water energy, But also I feel that there is a lack of water, and we need the Queen of Swords to help us find out why. The Queen of Swords is water of air, okay? It is the way air can sometimes act as water, right? So about the flowing kind of fluid nature of communication. And I wonder if some of your water energy, some of this, let's say creative energy, maybe like romantic energy, this sense of emotional connections, right? I wonder if you're finding more connections with people through your intellectual pursuits, through conversations, right? Through learning about other people. Right? Through maybe thinking of larger issues in the world, social issues, really, I think, activating your mind. And I think that you're discovering kind of a sense of purpose in life. And maybe this Ace of Swords here is you finding what your mission really is supposed to be. And I think you're finding a lot of pleasure, a lot of satisfaction, a lot of emotional connection through that intellectual work, right? Through that communication, through the way that you are expressing ideas and listening to others expressing their ideas. I think you're a very social person right now, right? We don't have the Hermit card here, which, by the way, is your power card. But I feel as if the Hermit's not going to make an appearance today. Now, maybe the mystery card. I could be totally wrong. But I feel as if you're very social right now, but not in that kind of romantic way. Like you want to go out and you want to learn. You want to have experiences. You want to immerse yourself in other people's lives and other cultures. You want to learn languages. You want to learn facts and ideas. And you want to explore the world consciously, intellectually, right? So that could be another reason why the water isn't here. Now, I think there's a deeper reason why some of that water's not there. And I think that the last romantic experience that you had was not a pleasant one, okay? And so I think maybe we're just done with that for a while, right? And that's okay. So the Ace of Swords, I feel like this is kind of an empty mind. This is almost you going out into the world and saying, I'm going to pretend that I don't know anything. I'm going to pretend like I've never seen any of this stuff before, and I'm going to learn about it. I'm going to push aside every preconceived notion I've ever had, every opinion, every thought, everything I thought I knew. I'm going to forget all of it. And I'm going to go out into the world with an empty mind. Very Taoist here. I love the Ace of Swords. Because this is us striving. Now, it's not easy, and we don't do it perfectly, but striving to go and see the world for the first time. And allow it to do what it does to us. You know, you see a beautiful piece of art for the first time, and it does something to you. But you see it again and again and again and again. Eventually, that feeling diminishes. We have to find a way to re-invoke that, right? We have to find a way to have that feeling again. Even if it's the 100th time that we've experienced that thing. And the analogy that I like to go to is music. Because there is a song for you. When you hear it, it makes you feel something all over again. Whether it's positive or negative emotion, something. A sense of holiness, or a sense of sorrow, a sense of wonder, of magic, whatever it might be. Joy, beauty, all these things. There is some piece of music for you that does that. Because when you first heard it, however long ago that was, when you first heard that, that's what it did for you. It solidified that feeling in you. Now, I don't think it was the music that did it for you. I think that period of time in your life had that feeling. And that music was just a way for our brains to kind of attach that feeling to something. So now anytime you want to feel that again, all you got to do is put on that song, right? And that's a key to magic, by the way. Anytime you want to concretize or solidify or crystallize a feeling, an aura, an energy, you have to imprint it onto some sensory object. It could be a physical object. It could be a sound. It could be a smell. It could be a sight. It could be a taste. I don't know. Whatever, right? And those are fragrances are another way. Perfumes and things are another way that we do this very often. You know, you smell some perfume now, it takes you back to a certain place, and you think, why does that feel like this? Why does that smell make me feel this way? Well, maybe it's because your grandma used to wear that or something when she was, when she would take you to the movies or something, and, whatever. It's those familiar smells that trigger that emotion in us, right? And so I think that's part of what the Queen of Swords is after right now, and is advising you to think about a little bit, right? What are those feelings that we don't have now, that we want now, that we are trying to invoke, that we are trying to find again? Or maybe you're having those feelings now through all these interactions with people, through your explorations. We need to crystallize that with some sort of a talisman, some sort of an amulet, something that that we can always use when we want to be back in that feeling. Okay, because there is a lack of water here. We need to get that water, and I think right now that water is locked up in these other moments. So maybe there is a particular song that we can put on right now, or a particular fragrance, or maybe something cooking in the kitchen that is going to allow some of that water energy to come about. Okay, I think that's kind of a side message here with the water energy not being present, but. we see the Three of Wands, and I feel like this is your intention, your willpower, your heart, and your mind are ready to experience the world almost like you're a newborn baby, right? Like you're just a kind of a new soul that's incarnated here on this planet, and everything is new, everything is fresh, right? And so I think that the Nine of Pentacles here is really you living your life in this kind of fluid way where we're not really trying to force things. We're not really trying to coerce the world. We're just going where it feels natural to go. We're being ourselves. We're being spontaneous. You are being truly and uniquely yourself. This is the expression of your identity, right? But I see you, Two of Pentacles, you're out in the world doing a lot, right? I feel like you're very social. I feel like you're making a lot of moves. You're making a lot of deals. You're doing a lot of things. You're going a lot of different places. You're meeting a lot of people. And I feel like we have to recognize the emotional part of that, the connecting, the really kind of deeper spiritual bond that your activities right now, your behaviors, right? Because maybe you're just not focused on the feeling part of it. How does this all feel to you, right? And how are those feelings being imprinted on the whatever you're eating at the time, or the drink that you're having at the coffee shop, or the song that's on the radio while you're out doing these things in the world, Because all of that is taking place, all those connections are being made on the unconscious level. Let's bring it to consciousness, because it is part of your fundamental nature. I think that you're making a lot of decisions right now. I think you've committed to something in particular that's going to bring you a lot of financial stability, a lot of income, right? I feel like you're engaged in some kind of work that really is going to be pretty lucrative right now. Yeah. And I think that's a really good thing. And I think it's a recent thing too. With the Two of Pentacles up here, it's something that you recently made a change somewhere. You're trying something different, right? It's going to work. Yeah, it's going to work. The Ten of Wands here, now we're going up the path of the Serpent here. The Ten of Wands is the amount of effort that you've been putting into, I think this, whatever this different venture is, whatever this change was, I think you've really put a lot of effort into it. And you're somebody that doesn't spread yourself all that thin. It's kind of like when you're on, The Ten of Wands here is a reminder that sometimes you do have to, we need the water energy, right? Sometimes we have to focus on our own recovery and recuperation. So I think that you've been out doing a lot. You've been very active. We need the other side of that. We need some of that passive, receptive, nourishing energy. You got to have all this fire. You got to have equal amounts of water, right? And so I think that this is a reminder to check in with your body, right? Practice some body awareness. Either sit and meditate, do some stretches, or sit and do the yoga nidra, where you do the body scan in your mind, in order to see where you might be feeling fatigue and muscle aches and pains and cramping and tension. Where are you holding a lot of tension right now? This is a reminder that as physical and as active as we are, we're not always very aware or conscious of our body. Sometimes we take our bodies for granted, right? Sometimes we just feel like I'm doing these things, I'm directing my body to do these things, but I don't really pay attention to what the body needs and to really appreciate that I have this flesh that can do these things and can go outside and experience things through the senses and can be the vessel for my consciousness to take me where I want to go, right? So the Ten of Wands, I think, it's important for that. I think there's also a link with the Lover's card and this Ten of Wands. And I said that the last romantic relationship you had didn't work out so well. It's because there was a codependency there. It's because that the two of you didn't know who you were authentically in yourselves, and so it felt as if the wholeness was there only when you're together. Okay, and so then it really makes us vulnerable to what the other person does. That we are deeply and personally affected by the thoughts and feelings of someone else, right? So the Ten of Wands sometimes is mentioning or makes a little hint about a codependent relationship, okay? Three of Pentacles here. Switch the camera back here. The Three of Pentacles is the potential that you now have, not only with this, whatever this work or business or career, or maybe it's a hobby, whatever this thing is, you're doing something different. I think it's going to be very profitable. This is telling me that you've got you're starting a lot of things. Like I picture you out there making a lot of deals, shaking a lot of hands, meeting a lot of new people, like networking. And so I don't know if you're trying to build something bigger, or if you're trying to really establish something that is kind of like it's growing. I feel like it's got roots that are just growing underground, like all over the place, right? That's the image that I'm getting. Because I feel like something's really happening here. You're really creating something that is connecting a lot of people, right? And I see it as the roots underground connecting all the trees and plants and stuff, you know? So I don't know exactly what that is, but I feel like there's a lot of people that are cooperating with you. And so, I feel like right now is not a time, in your mind anyway, not a time for all this water energy. It's not a time to relax and indulge and enjoy ourselves. It's time for action. It's time for work. It's time to kind of bust our butt and make things happen, you know? But just be also aware of the toll it's taking on you physically, okay? Also, Spirit's saying that there's something going on with your eyes. I don't know if you've been having an ongoing eye problem, but go get that looked at if you haven't yet, just to make sure, right? And I don't know if you have a history of eye things in your family, but Spirit's showing me the eyes, and there's something going on there. All right. The Nine of Swords, of course, this is the card that we do not want. And we don't want a waste of time. We don't want cruelty. We don't want unkindness. It's kind of like if you approach me with the wrong energy, I'm just not even going to talk to you. I'm literally not going to say a word and just walk the other way, right? So I think you're very, very much aware of I feel like you're this pure light being, and anybody that approaches you with anything less is just not on your wavelength. You know, and so the Nine of Swords, this is cruelty. This is a lot of negative energy that comes in and really can harm us. And I think when you're experiencing this kind of a spiritual union, when this kind of an enlightening, I think that in some ways we become kind of ultra sensitive to the energies of other people, you know. And so someone might not even say a word to you, but you'll have a vision of this card, and you'll just avoid that person, right? You really have this sensitivity about you right now. Okay, trust it. Trust it. All right. We don't have to give people the benefit of the doubt. And the best thing to do, like I said, we don't say a word. We just turn and go the other way, right? And I feel that with what's going on with you right now, there's that increase of sensitivity for you. Okay. The adjustment card at the end here, I think, is wonderful. That's also kind of these connections and these deals that you're making. But I think more than anything, this is an alliance between your true self and your human self, right? The higher and the lower nature. I think as one, this is an unstoppable force. This is the first task of any esotericist or occultist or anyone on a spiritual path. First thing we have to do is have that union with ourselves, right? Our higher nature. Because then I think we are ready to follow our path and fulfill our natures, to really maximize and realize the potential that we have within us. So I feel like this is that kind of a cooperation for you. I feel this is also your ability to make minor course corrections. I feel like you kind of intuitively know where to go. You know, I almost feel like it's like somebody that always needs their GPS in the car, right? And then there's the other person who never looks at a GPS, never has a map, I just kind of know where to go, right? I feel that's you right now. I feel like you're very discerning, and that connects with the Nine of Swords. You're very much aware of the energy that you don't want. It's very easy for you to be the judge of what you're not judging something's intrinsic value. You're judging its relative value to you. And it's kind of an instantaneous thing, but it's, is this right for me? Do I need this in my life? Is this energy good for me? You know, and I feel like you're very good at making those decisions. Now, the King of Wands that we have, and I'm going to have to take a sip of my water here. My voice is leaving me. The King of Wands that we have is really putting this union of higher and lower to action. And I think that's what this whole reading is about, is you having this self-realizing moment, but it feels like it's an ongoing thing. Having this experience of your true self and really letting that energy flow out into the world and making a lot of changes in life and doing these really big things and having these big moments and having a lot of self-realization, right? A lot of self-discovery taking place. Let's look at the mystery card. Of course, I'd like to see it just a little bit of water energy, right? We see a 4 of Pentacles. 4 of Pentacles, very good, because look, we have Ace, we have our 2, we have our 3, we have our 4. So I think the 4 really is, not only is it you solidifying and really crystallizing a lot of what we've been talking about, not only with the feeling tones being kind of imprinted on objects of the senses. This is you establishing whatever kind of business or organization, whatever you're working on, whatever you're trying, the roots, you know, whatever you're trying to do, I think is going to manifest, it's going to stabilize. But I feel like this is also you kind of taking the time out and appreciating your body, just sitting alone with yourself and kind of showing some gratitude and some appreciation for our physical nature, you know, showing this vessel that we appreciate it and that we're going to take care of it and that we're going to, of course, still need its assistance, you know, for many years to come. So we have to, we have to get the tune-up. We have to change the tires. We have to treat the vehicle well, right? So I think this is really some downtime that you need to find for yourself so that you can do a little self-care. Yeah, maybe a lot of self-care. Yeah. I think this is a good way to end. We're going to do an extended reading too. If you want to stick around, there's a link up top. There's one down below. New readings for Virgo every Tuesday and Saturday, 6 a.m. Chicago time. If you haven't subscribed yet, please do. It's totally free. It doesn't cost anything. And even if you have subscribed, check to make sure you're still subscribed. There's been some funkiness going on. And leave a comment for me. Let me know where in the world you're watching from. I want you to know that you're the most important part of Dove and Serpent Tarot. I thank you and I love you. And we're all in this together.